Hello everybody, this is Sprig and Webb, back here with part 5 of What If Deku was the Red and White Dragon Emperor. Okay, so I'm going to say some things before we get into it. This version of Deku will be one of the most strongest versions of Deku that I'll ever create. There might be some stronger in the future, but this one is going to be one of the most strongest. We'll be doing from episode 7 to 12 of High School DxD of season 3. Okay, let's get in with it. We start where we left off, or right after the whole Zenobia incident in the shed, with Theodora coming in and offering a bishop trade. With when Theodora goes on a knee and takes Asia's hand, Izuku grabs his hand and throws him off her, saying in a deep, venomous voice,
"If you ever touch her again, I will break you like a Kit Kat bar."
In his hand, motioning like a bone cracking motion. And then we get to when Koniko where Koniko and Issei are coming back from a summoning, with then them stopping with Kuroka coming out, and then Barley coming out with a warning for Izuku. With then Izuku asking if he ever wants a training partner that's actually worth fighting. He can call him anytime. Then we get to the part where he tells they get home, and they all are wearing those revealing outfits. And then we get to the part where where Rias comes in, and then she leaves, with then him going to go check on her, with then her coming down in that devil outfit. With then Akino and Rias fighting over Izuku, getting him to trying to get him to do all the stuff with them, and with it ending up with them fighting. Then Koniko comes in, doing the whole cat meow thing. With this then causing Izuku to get a bloody nose, which then causes him to run into his room, with then a whole bunch of emotions going through, being like it's not like her, and that he's never seen her so cute. Then we get to the part where he tells Rias about Riley's warning. Then we get to the part where they're going off to the fight with Theodora, with the whole thing with Azazel, Irina, and I forgot her name, but that Valkyrie chick going there to do that whole thing. With then them going after that going then we get back to the part where then we get back to when they get there to the battlefield, with Izuku wearing his mask. He's also wearing his Assassin's Creed jacket, along with all his other clothes, with his ripped jeans, his and his sleeveless hoodie underneath the jacket, the Assassin's Creed jacket. Then we get to when Theodora comes in and takes Asia. But before that, when all those devils come in, like from the old Satan faction, this causing Izuku to bring out all of his well, not all of his dragons, but the Green Dragon Emperor, Drake, Albion, the Gold Dragon Emperor, the Golden Angel Dragon Emperor, the Volcanic Dragon Emperor, the Blue Dragon Emperor, and the Blood Dragon Emperor. So he took his jacket off and tied it around his waist. But when Theodora takes Arcia, he then brings out Death, the scythe. And then he throws it at Theodora, but then he teleports before it hits him. It coming back to Izuku in his other hand. Him then dissipating it and making it, leave. But then he takes off his mask and summons a huge energy ball, yelling Dragon Blast Burn, multi-Dragon Blast Burn. This being like that brawl from the Broly movie where Broly summons that energy ball in his mouth, with it shooting out and killing most of the some of the old Satan faction demons. With then Odin coming in. And then him telling the whole thing. Then Azazel tells them to get out of there. But then Izuku cuts in saying that Theodora has Arcia. With him then saying he's not leaving until he gets her back. With then Azazel saying that that they should go after her. They do. Then they get to the part where they are fighting the Theodora's pawns and the other ones. Then we get to where they split up, and all that goes the same as canon, with him using Dress Break and Boobalingua. And that goes the same way, but instead of him saying to Akano, he says it's both of them. Whoever can take out the most of the people on their side will go on a date. Then we get to the part where they're walking up to where the knights are. Then but on the way there, they tallied up how many people they took out, and they got a tie. Then we get to the part where they run into Freed. With Freed then telling the whole thing about Theodora getting turned on by turning holy women into devils. With then saying the whole thing about how the whole reason, like, they're in that situation, the whole thing that goes to canon, with Izuku getting even more pissed, it being visible on his face. Then what happens is he asks Kiba if he can deal with Freed, saying that he needs to contain all this anger and let it out on Theodora, with Kiba being okay with it. Then we get to the part where Theodora comes in. Then what happens is, instead of it only being Drake, it's Drake and the Purple Dragon Emperor Gauntlet. And the Purple Dragon Emperor is mimicking Drake's boosting ability. So they're just boosting and boosting and boosting. Then Albion comes out. So they're dividing Theodora's power along with well, not dividing Theodora's power, but dividing Issei's power a little bit, so he doesn't go into Juggernaut Drive. Like the uncontrollable version. And then he goes into the fused form, but with this hand here being purple. With then him yelling Theodora, and then him rushing up to Theodora, punching him in the stomach, and then throwing him to the side, with everything going the same to canon, up until when he gets thrown into the wall. Then he takes back the helmet, and he then summons 5 of the death scythes that the Death Dragon Emperor has. with him then controlling them to slash at Deodora. Then him snapping, saying that if he ever tries to do anything like this again, he will make it so then it will be like he never existed. Then we get to the part where he's trying to get Arceus out. Then Deodora explains what happens, like how he got the seal, especially from a certain Longinus user. Then we get to the part where he uses the balance breaker, dress break, full power version. This getting her out. Then what happens is she starts praying, and then the whole thing with her getting teleported to the dimensional gap, and then Shalba comes in, and then what happens is he then says that pretty much how he sent her to the dimensional gap, just Jen saying the bitch is dead. But before that, he goes into that whole frantic version of Izuku, where he's like asking like where is she, and then we get to the part where he then says the bitch is dead. This pissing off Izuku to the pinnacle of his pissed off. So then what happens is he starts saying this being an enchantment, this being a seal that he put on himself during that training bit before the Riser fight. We cut back to then, where Izuku is putting a seal on him because of the people that he was reincarnated of. I've mentioned these people before, I just never told you who they were. We go into the his mindscape, meeting these two people. This being Sukuna and Meliodas. These are the two people that he was reincarnated as. And yes, I am doing this. This is canon to this story. This is why he is going to be so strong. We get back to the part where he's taking off the seal. The seal is the burn part of his face. He starts peeling this off, saying, I relinquish the seal that I placed upon myself, releasing the power of the king of curses, Sukuna, and the previous demon king, Meliodas. With then them realizing those names and who they are. With then him saying that he was reincarnated as them when he was turned into a devil. Then he says, "Dragon unite," bringing out all the dragons except Death and the true dragon god King Trigor. With then him going into the balance breaker. Looking like this. But all the gems, instead of them being the regular color they're pitch black with an aura of this purplish color. And his aura right now is blackish, purplish, reddish. And then what happens is he says,
We who shall awaken. We are the heavenly dragons who stormed the principle of domination from God. We laugh at the infinite and grieve at the dream. We shall become the true dragons of domination, and we shall drown you in the depths of crimson purgatory. Juggernaut drive.
Also, something that I should mention. This mark appeared on his left shoulder when he relinquished the seal. And also, this mark appeared on his forehead. That's something that I forgot to add in the details. Then, it pretty much looks like this, but the Juggernaut Drive version of it. So, It looks pretty much like this, including Albion's wings and his demon wings, which his demon wings have always looked like this ever since the start. As I said in the first part, his wings look odd, like different than everybody else's. Everybody else from the devils, because his wings were based off of Meliodas' wings, like this, which look like this, but they were more dragon-esque from him being the Red and White Dragon Emperor. Which him looking like this, having all with Then we get to the part with Varley, with him sensing a difference in Izuku's energy. With them then spotting Arcia and then going back, going to where Izuku is. At this point, he's taken off both of Shaba's arms. Then we also get to the part. Then he grabs Shaba's body, and then grabs his head, ripping it off of his body. Then, with him snapping, him going back to where he was before he lost all his arms and before he died. He repeats this process 5 times until Varley comes in, seeing what Izuku's become, saying that is a unperfected version of the Juggernaut Drive. Or maybe it's just a corrupted version from him being the reincarnation of Sukuna Meliodas. Which it is. He's not really corrupted. He's just imbued with their rage that they've felt. So since he's also seen Meliodas' memories and Sukuna's memories. So he's gone through the same amount of rage that Sukuna went through when he was split apart into 20 fingers. And the rage that Meliodas went through when he lost all the Elizabeths. Something that I should mention. Elizabeth didn't get reincarnated. Actually, no, I'm going to change that. She did get reincarnated into it, like some of Elizabeth's spirit got put into Irina when she got turned into an angel. So, that's how I'm going to fit her into the harem. And she's actually known about her being Elizabeth's reincarnation, which she tells Michael, which is the chief of all the angels, and he's shocked. Then we get back to right now, where then we get to the part where Izuku and Varley fight, with Varley looking like a purple version of Issei's Juggernaut Drive, in the canon in the canon version of High School DxD, but purple. Then they start fighting, up until Izuku uses Divine Dividing, with Varley using the same, as copying the skill, up until when they both are shriveled down into their balance breaker forms. Izuku still being angry, with then Irina bringing in a projector, projecting the Grab and Dragon song. And this then calming Izuku down to the point where they can get through to Izuku, with Rias then coming down to break him out of it. He does snap out of it, and when he sees Arcia being okay, he runs up to her and hugs her. Then we get to the part where this is what he looks like now. He has part of his hair yellow from Meliodas, part of his hair light pink from Sukuna, and then the rest green. Also, his eyes are purple and red, as I said, I think, in one of my other previous parts. But if I didn't, here, this is what he looks like now. He also has the slits where Sukuna's eyes would come, other set of eyes would come out. And then, we get to the part where Also, so yeah, he had like the dragon, all the dragon things have gone into that scaly version, and he does pass out, which then he gets taken back, and Arcia heals him with Azazel still having that talk with with the dragons, and then Izuku's lower eyes open up, which this being Sukuna, and his regular eyes being properly purple like Meliodas. So this being Sukuna, and Meliodas talking with the dragons. With Azazel asking what was that, with them saying that was Sukuna's and Meliodas' rage amplified through Izuku. This being multiplied by the boosts from the Red Dragon Emperor and all the other multipliers from the other dragons, which resulted in that version of the Juggernaut Drive. Then we get to the part where he gets healed by Arcia. Then, so also, Loki still did put the curse on Rias and Izuku. That the curse also amplified Sukuna's and Meliodas' power, which is why it was so powerful. Then we get to the part where give me a second. Then we get to the part where Izuku and Arcia are training for the three-legged race. And then we get to the part where Izuku is looking for the stopwatch, which he then says that he forgot it in his bag, which is in the Occult Research Club. Then we get, so he does look like this. People have asked him about it at school. Then he just says that he dyed it for no reason at all. And the things under his eyes they ask about, he says a tattoo to symbolize well, you can think of whatever you want. But he also has the Sin of Wrath mark, which they say what's it supposed to be? With then him saying it's to symbolize wrath. Like since he gets angry really easily, that it symbolizes his anger, and it actually does glow a purplish color when he gets pissed. Then we get to the part where he goes into the whole room with him running into Konako, them seeing Gasper on the floor, with him asking if it's the real Issei. Then they get to the part where Rias is standing next to a fake Izuku, except it looks like the old Izuku before he got into this went through this with Rias asking about it, him saying that it's just a weird side effect from it, but it will go back soon. That's just like something so then I can make this work. Then we see the fake Issei with his hands on Rias, and with her putting her arm around the fake Izuku. If I said Issei, I'm sorry, I mean Izuku. They have very similar names. Then we get to the part where they teleport out of there. With this then making Izuku go onto the ground, punching the ground. With then the building exploding. Gasper being able to get them out of there. And Arcia asking what happened. Same with all the others asking what happened, with him saying a fake Izuku took Rias. Then the whole same thing goes to canon where he gets the powers from the from that guy. I forgot his name. I think it's the current Beelzebub. And then we get to the part where they ask for Varley's help. He does help them. They do go there. To be honest, I don't really like this part of the actual anime, but I'm still going to include it. Then they start. Then that everything actually goes the same to canon, but with it being the actual version of the version of the Juggernaut driver that Izuku actually transformed into, instead of the one that it did in canon. Then they fight Riaz. Then Great Red comes out. Them following and going to that island, them kissing. But then they go back and Riaz forgot, but Izuku didn't. Him still having the strong feelings of love towards Riaz, but her forgetting about the whole thing. And forgetting about... So in this, he also says that he loves her. And that he asks if she remembers what happens. He pretends that he forgot. But inside, he's actually hurting a bit since he confessed, and that took a lot out of him. Since before this, he was very unsocial, and she brought him out of his shell. So he does still use the the big buff arms against it. He does still have those three like transformations that he had. I mean, not the arms, the cannon blast things that go on his shoulders. He still uses that. And that's the end of this part. Wait, let me think. Yeah, that's the end of this part. Also, something that I forgot to mention. He can now use 2 billion% of One for All, but that's only in this form, since he now has the respects the part that he is Sukina's and Meliodas' reincarnation. He respects that. In this form, he can, since he now looks like this, he can now contain 2 billion% of One for All. But when he goes into one of his dragon transformations, say Balance Breaker. In the Balance Breaker, he can handle 3 billion. Well, 3.5 billion. But when he goes into a Juggernaut Drive or something higher than that, he can go 5 billion. You might be thinking that that's too strong. Well, that's the point. He's really strong on this one. Then, well, that's it. See you in the next part. Hopefully you enjoyed. And the next part, I will be signing off Season 4. Hopefully. That's if I remember to do it. Because this one was kind of rushed. Since I have to rewatch High School DxD from... Well, I had to rewatch High School DxD before this. Well, the Season 3. The who I watched it with was Kick-Ass Reactions. Shout out to him, because he's actually pretty good. And goodbye. And hopefully you enjoyed.